Hi everyone, thank you for joining our Facebook Live. I'm Anastasia Reed with the Public Affairs and Outreach Office. I am joined by my colleagues, Travis Houston, he's with the Office of Emergency Management, as well as Chief Martinez with the Dallas Police Department. We have a lot of information to give you all today. As you all know, we had a really large tornado pass through our area on Sunday. It was an EF3 tornado confirmed by the National Weather Service. So I'm going to start with Travis. Travis, can you give our Facebook users a little update about how the city actually notified residents that this was coming, or did we know that this was coming? And we'll give some people some time to go in our comments and ask us some questions so that we can address those as well.
Sure, absolutely. So the City of Dallas Office of Emergency Management does monitor things in general on a 24-hour basis. We have a 24-hour duty officer who it's their responsibility to make sure that they're aware of anything occurring in the city.
Right.
On Sunday night, we had some advance notice that there was the potential for severe weather. We knew that there were potentially 2 storm systems that were going to move through the region.
Wow.
So we were actively monitoring the situation on Sunday night. The National Weather Service issued a tornado warning at around 9, and the Office of Emergency Management activated the outdoor warning sirens initially in northwest, north central, and northeast parts of the city. So basically the entirety of North Dallas.
And this happened pretty quickly. So once you all were notified that there was a tornado warning, about a minute or 2 later.
Right. So part of our policy is that when we get that warning from the National Weather Service, we go and activate the sirens. So as soon as we were able to get that notification, read it, ensure that it was a tornado, verified tornado warning, then we were able to activate the sirens. Immediately after that, we came to the Emergency Operations Center, activated it, brought everyone in, and since then we've been operating on a 24-hour basis.
Right. So since this storm came through our area, city staff has been in the Emergency Operating Center throughout the night, throughout the day, making sure that all of you are safe. So we're going to give some people some time to ask some questions. So if you want to go in the comment section, we'll get to those as soon as we can. So we have a lot of frequently asked questions. A lot of people want to know when are our streets going to be open, because we have a lot of street closures out there. So Chief Martinez, can you speak to that?
Sure. Our priority right now is to look at our major streets, our north and south, east and west streets through that affected area. The primary reason, obviously, is because whatever we're trying to do as far as the city and all our resources, including our citizens who are trying to get repairs done to their homes, as well as other contractors coming in to help them, we need those thoroughfares to be opened. So right now, for example, Hillcrest Road is shut down between Walnut Hill and Royal, at least on the southbound side. But we expect to open all of Hillcrest Road, north and south, in about 3 to 4 hours. We're waiting on Encore and their utilities group that are assisting in mutual aid to finish up a repair on Hillcrest Road. Once we have that will assure us that the citizens are safe to travel on there. And then that will at least give us a north and south corridor in that area. There's, for example, also Walnut Hill. If you look at the damage that happened, Walnut Hill is fine on the east side of the tollway and a little bit on the west side of the tollway. But once you get in towards the northwest area or Love Field area, that area was struck, and that's what blocks Walnut Hill. And you're talking about a tornado, so some of it is 200 yards to half a mile damage, depending on what all debris was thrown. And it's mostly power lines. Now think about that, because when you're trying to get these trees cut and removed, you have power lines. So nobody's going to cut a tree until we know that power line has been rendered safe, and vice versa. So, for example, Walnut Hill is an area that we're looking at to try to open, so at least we open another east-west corridor. Preston Road, right now, based on our assessment, is going to be extremely difficult to open, and we don't anticipate that opening up in the next 2 or 3 days because of the extent of the damage. Inwood Road is another area that, when you look at it, has about a 300 to 500 yard area that's damaged, and that is not yet safe for people to travel through.
Right.
And that's what's making it difficult.
Right.
Now, we are working also on Royal Lane, but again, same thing. When it crosses Preston, it is a mess right there. And so we've set up, and I'm sure Travis will talk about it, we have teams that are going to focus on opening up these arteries, because we need that. Everybody needs that, and we recognize that. So for the time being, we hope to put out here around 5 or 6 o'clock. We should have a pretty good idea of what is open and what is not open, because we don't need anybody that doesn't need to be there to be in that area.
Right.
But the other part is, we fully understand that people are trying to get to work and trying to get home. And right now, what's been difficult is everybody's practically having to use the freeways. And we realize that it's not only aggravating, it's frustrating. And we're doing everything we can to make sure we get to those openings.
Right. So, Chief, you gave us a lot of road closures, so that may be a little hard to remember, but it is important information. So if you go to our website, dallascityhall.com, we actually have an alert bar at the top, and that's where you can find the latest street closures. So that should help you in the morning when you're trying to plan your commute, or right even before you go home, because street closures may change from the morning to the afternoon.
Absolutely.
So that's a really important resource and link to have in your back pocket. So I'm going to go to some frequently asked questions. Let's see here, pulling up my questions. So a lot of people want to help, right? That's one of the great things about our city. It's one of the great things about our state, is that we help each other. We help people that are in need. So if people are wanting to help people impacted by this storm, what are the best ways to go about doing this?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been amazed by the outpour of support and people contacting us wanting to know, hey, how do we come in and how do we help? The best way to do that is go to volley.org, VOLY.org, and you can sign up to be a volunteer there. What that allows us to do is have a database full of volunteers, understand how many people we have, and then as we need volunteers to go help out in this part of the city or whatever, we can pull from that list. So it's really important that if you want to volunteer, want to have that opportunity to go to Volley and sign up there.
So volley.org, if you want to give back, that's the best way to find ways to help people impacted by this storm. And we also have a disaster relief fund. So if you'd like to make a monetary donation, again, that link is on the city's homepage. So we will take, the help that we can get. Monetary is great. And if you want to find additional ways, volley.org is how to do that.
And if I could just add one more thing.
Sure.
At this time, we are only accepting monetary donations. We've had a lot of people offering food, supplies, etc. Right now, we're able to meet those needs. But the best way that you can help, if you want to give, is by making a monetary donation to that disaster relief fund.
So, Chief, the areas that, and I just wanted to add, we're having some technical difficulties, but we're going to keep recording so that we can upload this later. And if you do still have a question, I promise you we will get back to those. We'll be going into our comment section and responding to your questions. But, Chief, the homes that this did impact, because there was some severe structural damage to a lot of homes in the North Dallas area. What is the police department doing to ensure that there's no looting, that although these homes are damaged, those homes are still safe? What is the police department doing about that?
So because of the declaration, the state declaration by the governor, we have now state troopers assisting us. So that helps us in our resources or our manpower. And so part of what we're doing is patrolling our areas. We've also set up perimeters around the damaged areas. As you mentioned, some houses or some homes are completely destroyed, including businesses, apartment complexes, structural damage. On the night of Sunday night, Monday morning after the tornado strike, I came in to set up the command post for North Central at Royal and Hillcrest. So one of the things that we don't often think about is the utility damage that happens, not only the telephone poles or the electrical poles, but we had a lot of gas leaks. And Atmos was having to bring in crews to close those off. So even that, somebody else hitting a pipe or something else could open up that gas leak again. So not only is it just patrolling to keep looters out,
Right.
the other part of it is also to make sure whoever needs to be in there should be in there.
Right.
Because we know we're expecting rain, storms, I believe, tomorrow and
Right.
Friday. So we know that our citizens, our homeowners, our business owners and such are trying to tarp what they can and protect what they can. So what helps us is going to volley.org, helps us know who should be there and who shouldn't. So to recap that, it's patrolling
Right.
and setting up perimeters around the damaged area as best as we can.
And it's important to note that if you do smell gas, to call 911. And one great thing that we can report is that DPD hasn't seen any major incidents out in the impacted areas. So you all are doing a great job. Thank you for keeping
you.
us safe. One really big important note for Dallas residents is that bulk and brush pickup has been suspended and will reconvene for week 4 in November, correct? So if you can keep your bulk trash with you, don't set it out just yet. We will come and pick it up, but we will resume in week 4 of November, and that's so that we can reallocate some resources, right?
Right, absolutely. Yeah, the storm created a massive amount of debris. That's a huge reason why you're seeing these road closures and huge interruptions to traffic. And so, what we're doing is now focusing on getting those roads reopened, opening those major arteries. We have multiple public works strike teams, debris removal strike teams that are out today. And they're, a big group that's going out and trying to do everything in one fell swoop and just moving through the affected area to get that cleaned up and get those areas reopened. But what they're doing right now is focusing on those major thoroughfares and other areas that, yeah.
Perfect. So thank you all for taking the time to give us these important updates. As you know, Texas weather can change in an instant. So hopefully this is something that, we don't have to experience anytime soon. But by chance, if someone does encounter this type of situation or we have another tornado warning, what tips does the Office of Emergency Management have to ensure that everyone is safe in the event of a tornado?
Absolutely. So Sunday night was an excellent example of what we always say, that severe weather can happen at any time.
Right.
October is not usually the month you think about of severe weather,
No.
but believe it or not, it's, outside of that severe weather season, it's the highest rate of severe weather every year. And so what people can do is make sure you have multiple ways to receive emergency notifications. The outdoor warning sirens are great, but those are meant for when you're outdoors to alert you, hey, go inside and seek additional information.
And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think that they should be hearing outdoor warning systems inside their house, but it really is meant for people who are outside to make sure that they seek shelter in
Exactly.
the amount of time.
The outdoor warning sirens are meant to tell you, hey, go inside and seek additional information. It's not safe to be outside. But once you're in there, having a NOAA weather radio, making sure that wireless emergency alerts are set to on your phone is critical. And making sure that if you know that there's severe weather in the forecast, to keep an eye out, keep checking local media. We have great meteorologists, and the National Weather Service does an amazing job of keeping us updated about what's happening.
Right. Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Chief Martinez. And thank you all for watching. And make sure you put your questions in our comments, and we'll make sure we get back to you. Thank you.
Absolutely.